What's shaking, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more acid-techno. And as you can see here, we're going to listen to a track from the mighty WahWah label, which is a sub-label of Stay It Forever. A sub-label run by, I believe, Chris and Aaron, Chris Liberator, Aaron Liberator, and the Geezer, or Guy McGaffer. And it's definitely the most having it label from the Stay It Forever universe, at least going back to the early 2000s. Now, there's been a number of sub-labels in recent years, like Abusive 303 and perhaps the AAA label of Chris's in recent years that are similarly wild and wicked, but definitely if you like crazy London 303-driven techno, WahWah is up your alley. And yeah, we're going to listen to WahWah 15, which is by Ant, or Anthony Wilson, who in recent years has gone by the name Acerbic, and Berio 303, a name I've only ever seen on this release. I believe his real name is like Severio or Severio, and I think he's from Spain, but I'm not entirely positive about that. But yes, there's two tracks on here, Acid Fiction and Acid Nonfiction. Acid Nonfiction is sort of wicked and, sort of dark acid techno. Acid Fiction is very notable because it features an acid melody done in the style of the theme from Pulp Fiction, the Tarantino movie, and the track is full of Pulp Fiction samples. I do think this is a very popular and coveted release within the WahWah catalog. As I said, it's from 20 years ago, 2005, and it's on WahWah 15, so let's give it a listen. This is Ant and Berio 303, and the track is Acid Fiction. think very suddenly like that. Yeah, so I love it. It's obviously notable for its use of the Pulp Fiction samples in the breakdown. I do like the smashing, heavy quality to the percussion. I feel like it's sort of a snare clap, so it gives it an extra bit of pop on every other beat. Obviously, there's the two breakdown or breakbeat sections in the main breakdown, and then later near the end of the tune. I love when it's already doing that melody with the acid after the main break, and then a couple measures after the return, the drop, that like keyboard line with the same melody comes in, and it makes it very dramatic and epic. And yeah, it's just a wicked tune. I definitely enjoy the clever use of a film and some lines from it, or a film score I should say, and some lines from it that I think many people will be familiar with. I do think just the acid work itself is wicked. There's a lot of, flaring and flourishing acid work that stands out, especially in the latter half of the tune, I would say. So yeah, it's a classic. WahWah is full of classics, so we'll go through more. There's one I have in mind. I'm either going to do it in this batch or maybe the next batch. So yeah, more WahWah coming. Shout out to acid-techno on vinyl, as well as to Stay It Forever, WahWah, and everyone who has been part of that world. I will say there was a part in the breakdown section, I think with the second iteration of the breakbeat, that has a very wicked like arpeggio. It's like this high, like glass-like crystalline dissonant arpeggio. The print here is very small. Give me one moment. I must use my cell phone. I apologize, my eyes are so bad, but this is what happens when you get old, apparently. I wouldn't be surprised if this is produced at Kinetic Studios. Recorded at the Power Plant. No, the Power Plant I think is Ant's studio. So yeah, apparently it was done at the Power Plant. But the reason I say that is because I remember getting a little bit of insight from my friend Bad Boy Pete, who was saying that Kinetic Studios, run by James Kinetic, had an arpeggiator where they could take like a synth line and put it into this synthesizer that would then make an arpeggio out of it. And a lot of tunes that have those like wicked cycling arpeggios from that period, like very late 90s, early 2000s, a lot of them were made at Kinetic Studios. And I'm thinking already of DDRs or Trip Hazard's Gotta Get Out of It. There's one in that track that I believe that track was recorded at Kinetic Studios. So yeah, I thought it might be the case here, but no, I believe the Power Plant is Ant's studio, who again goes by the name Acerbic these days. In any case, it's a top tune. Let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.